Hello, crafting buddies. It's Late Night Lori from Lori's Little Bit of Crafting. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States, coming to you from Wisconsin on Sunday, July 27th at 11:25 p.m. You know I'm not big on Halloween stuff. If you've been with me the last few nights, I've commented that I don't do a whole lot for Halloween, but with the grandkids, I know they're going to love this set. So I went ahead and I got the suite. So it's the Spooky Suite collection. We've got these great stamps that are adorable. There's some dies, these foam star glitter, and I'm not a fan of glitter either, but the glitter doesn't come off, so I'm all right. And then these cello treat bags. So another night I'm gonna do some fun things with the treat bags, but not tonight. All right, so tonight I'm going to use again some of the die cuts from this laser cut sheet, and I've shown some of the patterns from this designer series paper on other nights, so I'm not going to go through all those pages again. You can kind of go back the last couple of nights if you want to see some of those papers. So let me just get that out of the way. And I thought what I would do is start with a Timid Tiger card base, kind of Halloweenish. This tree laser cut piece from the designer series paper. Some of these candy corns that I have already put my dimensionals on. And I wanted to show you a couple of these dies. I don't know that I'm going to use them tonight, but this die makes this haunted house that's adorable, and I thought if I brushed, use some ink blending on that, we could make it look a little more haunted, or could also make like a little treat box. Just make a square to put this on, maybe some timid or some darling duckling behind here to make it look like it's lit up. Maybe cut around there, make a little box for, I don't know, Ferrero Rocher chocolate or something. And I got 2 of these out of a 2 by 4 3/4 inch scrap. And then you get some of these other little pieces too. So these circles could be used for something. Who knows? The little pieces, not so much, but I just had them in my hand, so I popped them there. Let me go ahead and put this away quick so I don't lose it. And then another piece, I'm not sure if I'm going to use them tonight, but this cute fence piece, I did cut a couple of these out of the designer series paper, so I might use those. We'll see. And then I also, I think last night or the night before, one of them, I showed you this die that's got the little bat on it, but you should be able to see that little hash mark there, the little dash line. That just embosses on the cardstock. This is just one piece, so that when you fold this, you get this cute little bat topper. Now, you also have the hole from the bat, and you could, I actually cut the flap off on this one. You could actually make other colors, I suppose. But what I thought I would do is glue these together so that I would cover up the bat hole on the back and then put them on a tag for a treat bag. So that's coming. So I cut 4 of those out of, I don't know, 3" by 6.5-ish, 6.25 maybe. I've got some extra. And I also thought this could make a fun frame for like some of these little characters. So I might do something more with this too, but stay tuned. Another day we're gonna do some things with that, I think, with the treat bag. So I think I've got all my dies put away. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up so that I don't lose anything off of here. And I do like to mark on my sheets. If I don't put them on a metal or a magnetic sheet, And I just get those from like the hardware store to the register cover magnets. They're not very heavy, but they're enough. So if I don't put it on a magnet sheet, if I just keep it on here, I always write, or I don't always, I try to write how many dies there are. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I try to do like a head count before I put those away. All right, I'm not sure if we will use these tonight, but I am using a couple of the sentiments from here. The No Tricks, All Treats, and Don't Worry, Eat Sweets. And I pulled out some bats. So we'll hang on to these. Not sure if I'm going to use them. We're not going to use these. These are ready. With the fence, too, I thought it was kind of fun. These little void spots in here make cute little bricks. So those could go in the recycle bin, or they may just get used for something. I don't know. We'll see. So a couple of things I want to try to do some ink blending on to build this card. All right. So this is simply going to be my base. I'm really not going to do anything else with this. So I'm just going to set it aside for now. But my darling duckling. So this is Timid Tiger, one of the new in colors. And this is Darling Duckling, another current in color. And the first thing I thought I would do was mask off a moon. So I just used the Stampin' Up! Masking paper and one of my circle punches. I don't know if it's, I don't even know what size it is. I just grabbed one that wasn't too big. So it's 1.5. It's a 1.5 inch circle. You could use just a punch out piece too. But I do like the masking paper. When I peel this off though, I do stick it to my clothes a little bit so it gets a little linty, so it's not super sticky to peel off your paper, because it can rip because it is super, super sticky. So what I'm going to do is just a little ink blending with my Secret C. And we're going to do just some cloudy sky here, spooky sky, and I don't really care if it's blotchy. That's kind of the look I'm going for, actually. And some of this is going to be covered up, like the tree is going to go here, so that's not going to show anyway, so I don't have to be super careful. But I want to highlight that moon, and then I am going to take some Darling Duckling. I think I'm done with this for now. I'll do some of my sentiments. In fact, maybe I should do that now since I have this open. So let's go ahead and stamp Don't Worry, Eat Sweets. And these I'm going to just cut out the individual words. So I'm just going to do that close to the edge of my scrap here. This I'm going to do on the inside of my card. So that's going to go here. Now you can see, you might be able to tell, this layer is as big as a card front, because I'm going to do a little paper tearing, and I'm going to tear it down to size. And then I'm going to mat it on some Darling Duckling to go inside there. So that's done for there. And then I'm also going to create some grass for my card for the tree to go on, wherever I put my tree. It was here a second ago. There it is. All right. So I am going to take these bats, because we're going to do that in Secret C as well. So see how nice that peels off? And that was just, you know, putting it on my clothes a little bit. And this has plenty of stick. I can use it again. So I'm going to hang on to that. So that moon is kind of bright to me. So I am going to dull it a little bit with our basic beige. All right, so this is just the basic beige ink. And I typically have a blending brush for almost every one of my colors, just because I use them a lot. A lot of people just have a brush for a color family like reds, the yellows, the blues, but I have one for almost everyone. So I am just using some basic beige to soften that up so it's not quite as dark as the Secret Sea, but it gives it that hazy look. And then I also wanted to do a little bit on this tree. And I'm just going to do that on this. I'm not going to do it at the trunk level, but I'm going to put some across here just so that it takes away some of that stark white from the background, from that edge. All right, so we're going to do that with the basic beige, and then I'm going to add some Darling Duckling so that it looks a little bit more like the card layer that it's going to go on. And I'm just going to kind of not do full coverage, but mix it up a little bit. I think that'll work. I think that looks pretty good. In fact, we could probably add a little bit of that Secret Sea strategically to make it look a little hazy. It can be random. Mama Juju, you're back. I did stop in at the Ginger Crafter. Is that her handle for the junk journaling? I did stop in there the other night. Just briefly. It was late. I was tired. So, welcome. Yeah, this is a laser cut from some designer series paper. So, I think I am done with my blending. I'm going to get rid of my scrap. And I'm going to pull in my base. Now I have this, this is an 8.5 by 11. I actually scored this at 5.5 first and then cut it at 4.25 so I could do a landscape rather than a portrait. And I'm going to go ahead and just stick that on there because there's nothing else I need to do with that. Ginger Cat Lady. I couldn't remember if there was cat in there or not. If it was the card lady, the cat lady. So I think you're an admin on her page. Did I see that correctly? You were answering some people's questions, I think. All right, so we've got that on there. And then for the grass, and I'm going to have that extend to the whole width of my card. We have this two-tone cardstock. And what I did, you can see kind of the white edge here because this is printed where our cardstock is dyed. So it's dyed through the paper, so there's no white core. But this two-tone cardstock, it's a little thinner and it's actually printed. So when we rip, whatever side you're ripping toward you is going to have the white show probably from your dominant hand. So when I rip, my dominant hand is my left, so that's what I'm holding. So when I rip off with my right hand, I can do whatever curvature to make the texture. And then for this one, what I did is I added some of the basic beige to soften up that white core a little bit. So that was a scrap that I had. But this is the piece that I prepped ahead of time. So I've already used the basic beige on there. And what I did was, this is how I ripped it. So this is just a piece that's 1.5 by 5.25, or 5.5 rather. Yeah, 1.5 by 5.5. So when I ripped it, I was planning ahead to kind of have a hill and a valley. So when I put this down, and then when I flip it over, so I've got the lighter side and the darker side. So that's with our two-tone cardstock. The dark side is the true color that matches with the ink and all of the other papers. And then the reverse side is the shade or two lighter. So I'm going to go ahead and stick these on here. And I don't use a thick layer of glue, but I do like glue all around so that it doesn't come off. And I'm just going to go corner to corner and have this flush on the bottom. And then this piece, I'm going to go ahead and glue it right on top of there. Same thing. So Mama Juju, do you do the junk journaling too, or is your forte a different kind of crafting? I know the other night when I was rereading the comments, you kind of said what one person doesn't do as far as crafting, somebody else might do. So you're all kind of, you vary in what your crafting styles are, huh? I'm going to add just a little bit more shading down there. So you do junk journaling too. I've never done that before, but I got a kick out of her golden book that she was working on, because where I lived for the better part of my, let's see, I haven't lived there for the last 25 years. But I lived in Racine, which is where Golden Books was headquartered. And I actually lived just a couple of blocks. I could walk to their, they used to have what they called the boathouse, where you could go and get their books and coloring books and crayons and puzzles and all of their products at reduced prices. It was like their wholesale store. That was so cool. So anyway, I am going to, I think, put this up on some dimensionals just because I think it needs a little lift. And I'm just going to use little ones. And I might glue those tree. I do real junk journaling and mixed media art journals and mix the two. Cool. I may have to watch that more. It's something that I've only seen casually. I haven't taken a whole lot of time to watch those to see how it's done. It's probably not, I mean, obviously a different style, but not very different from when we do our scrapbooking and memory keeping. It's just we do a 2-page spread and we would have pockets and journaling and all that kind of stuff. And when you do a junk journal, you've got everything in there. I saw she had made a bunch of pockets and some sewing around her pages. I actually did a card not too awful long ago where I sewed in more like cross stitching. I did some X's on it, some accents with our baker's twine. So that was kind of fun. So it's interesting how there are some parallels with the different crafting styles, but also some clear differences. So I'm getting just a little bit of glue on here. And this is just going to sit right down here. So you can see why I wanted to add some of that basic beige mini albums. Those would be really close, you're right. And we do have some kits actually that are mini albums that I started, and I cut out all kinds of pictures, and then I get sidetracked and then I forget to finish things. So I've just put some liquid glue on those edges of the root so that those can be flat. Excuse me, because my little dimensionals are too big for that. And then I thought I would turn this into a candy corn tree instead of like an apple tree. The kids will think it's fun. And I just put these on dimensionals already as well. And these candy corns come from that sheet of laser cut pieces as well. So we'll just add, I did 5 of them just because that kind of gives us some visual balance. And then there's this piece of 2 of them joined together that I thought I would put on the ground as if they were like fallen apples. All right. Now for the Don't Worry Eat Sweets, I think what I want to do is lighten that up. Well, darken it up so it's not so stark white is what I really mean. And let me get my snips. We're just going to cut these words down. And there's one other thing I need to stamp. So before I finish that, I've got bats to put on here. I was going to put those across the moon. And we'll just let those fly off into the sunset or the moonset. This technique when you're doing a moon actually looks really cool when you've got it on white paper, but I didn't want the stark white for the whole card. All right, cut those down. Get rid of that again. And I'm going to use some of these. Aren't those cute bats? There's bats that are die cuts too. I think, oh, you weren't here last night. I used these last night. There's dies here that cut the bats. And then I just did some paper piecing. So I cut them once out of white, cut them once out of black. I used the black ones on my card from last night. I don't remember if you were here 2 nights or 3 nights ago. But this is the card I did last night. And I put some bats inside. So these are the ones where I cut out the black and then cut the white ones out of here and then just paper piece. So this is flat except for the texture from the bats. And who doesn't love a wobble? So that was last night's card, and the bats are all over the front. And then the night before, I did this card. And also with bats, but these were laser cut ones from that designer series paper sheet. All right, so let's finish this up. Excuse me. All right, we are going to put these adhesive strips on the backs because they're a little narrower than some of my dimensionals. So I can just do that. Don't worry, eat sweets. So we're going to do something like this. That'll work. I could probably move this eat down a little bit. And then we can move don't worry down as well. Those wobbles are adorable. So this is all they are. If you go to like, I don't know if I can, where we all have Prime. Well, we don't all, but some people have Prime. If you just put wobbles in to shop, you should be able to find them. I don't know if like general box stores have them or who carries them, but I know I ordered mine online. And they have different sizes. The ones I have are the mini ones, but I thought they're just so cute. And I've had mine for a while. I don't even remember who I saw with them the first time, but I thought, oh, I have to get some of those. So do you have another live then with the Ginger Cat Lady tonight? All right, so there's that. So that's kind of our front. It's a little plain. It's not quite as jazzed up as our card from the other night. So I think what I'm going to do are the cards from the last 2 nights. I think what I'm going to do, oh, I had thought about putting this fence on here, but there's really no, I think that might be too much. What do you think? With the fence or without the fence? I could always move the candy corn. I'm definitely going to put a fence piece on the inside, so maybe I'll wait on the front to see how it looks. And we're just going to add a couple of these foam stars on here. Yes, they do have glitter, and if my friend Linda is watching, the glitter doesn't come off, so it's not making me crazy. Normally, glitter makes me crazy. We got, you think it looks good with the fence? I could move these. Our granddaughter had received a gift costume one year, and it was like a princess dress a few years ago, and it was glitter. It was all glitter. I'm just gonna go around the edges here a little bit so it kind of melds with the front. And I don't have a whole lot of ink on here, but some. But anyway, relatives gifted her this princess dress. And of course she wanted to wear it, and of course they gave it to her as we were leaving. So all of the glitter was all over the inside of my truck. And she didn't want to take it off, of course, outside. It got in the house, so there's glitter all over the house. And I don't do glitter. So my husband and my dad, because my parents were living here, they did their best to clean up all the glitter because it stresses me out. Okay, so Pam is live. And I can't see. Oh, I'm sorry for his loss. Funerals are no fun. All right, so yeah, glitter it's evil. All right, so let's go ahead and put this fence on because that is kind of cute. So let's put a little bit of glue on there. And Pam was the one who was saying she goes until she falls asleep, right? Which I thought was kind of funny. All right, so I think that's enough. We'll just set this down here. And then we can put these little fallen candy corns right there. That's cute. So the other thing, I've got some Wink of Stella, and I think I'm just gonna jazz up these candy corns. I don't know if you can see on camera. Yeah, you can kind of see how it shimmers. When it dries, it obviously won't have quite the same shimmer because it's not going to be wet, but it gives that fun little extra. And then I'm just going to dabble a little bit on these as well. Okay, and that'll kind of tie in with those glitter stars. Oh yeah, Wink of Stella is awesome. All right, so there's the front. I think that's kind of fun actually. So let's finish, oops, and look at what I did. It needs to be this way. So that's why we have two sides to the paper. So let's try this again. So no tricks, all treats. You know, I've done that before, and hopefully I didn't just get ink on the front of my card. See that? That's what happens when I'm a messy stamper. We're going to go ahead and do this. Since we have this out, let's do some more bats. And if we stamp it off, yeah, that'll work. That way I don't have to re-ink. All right, so now what I was planning on doing with this is tearing it down a little bit. So we're just gonna start tearing these edges so that it looks a little more rustic. And then we'll kind of be done. I probably should have made this piece a little bit bigger so it would be easier for me to work with. Or I should have pre-done one of these. That's why you have gesso. What's gesso? I am very limited. If that's a product, I'm not familiar with it. So that's doing pretty good here. So does Pam do junk journaling too? And I don't remember what Pam's handle was. Oh. Is Pam the cat, the ginger cat lady? Oh, white paint. Well, I could look at that, but I typically just flip over my paper. You know, I suppose if I was doing like junk junk journaling where you're bound by the book or whatever you have, you probably do need to salvage rather than start over with another piece of paper, I suppose. All right, so let's see how this is. Still a little big, so I'm just going to rip a little bit more off of this edge. I didn't estimate good enough, but that's all right. It's easier to take off than it is to try to put it back on, right? Let's see how this looks. Okay, I think that'll work. I'll just take off this little corner. It looks kind of too big. There, I think that'll work. All right, so the front is, I should have probably ripped those edges too, but I kind of like it. And let's just do a little bit of this secret C around the edges. I'm going to need a little bit more ink. If I do more of this card, if I recreate it, I will probably do ripping on the front as well for that layer. But I think that works. That'll be fine. Especially if it's going to a kid, they're not going to notice, right? The contrast from the front to the back, or the front to the inside, I mean. It's unexpected, right? There. It kind of reminds me of the Flintstones a little bit. All right. So there, that's my card for tonight. Don't worry, eat sweets. No tricks, all treats. The kids will love it. And I probably will make a second one so that the two grandkids are getting the same card, because I'll give them more than one. But I also have nieces and nephews. So we'll make some more of these. So that's all I have for you tonight. Mama Juju, thanks for popping in. Whoever else is with us here not commenting, thanks for stopping by. If you've enjoyed this, I appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up or a heart or whatever it is you can do. If you don't already have a demonstrator, I would love to help you with your crafting needs. I am Lori's Little Bit of Crafting here and on my Facebook page. So I will post a picture of this on my Facebook page as well. You can hop over there. Vicki, thanks for popping in. Arizona. I have family in Arizona. We're in the 90s today with a lot of humidity. What are you in Arizona? Didn't talk to my sister-in-law today to see how hot it was by her. So anyway, if you don't have a demonstrator, if there's anything I can help you with, check me out at Lori's Little Bit of Crafting, or my online store is lorimacari.stampinup.net. Thanks for popping in. I appreciate it. And until next time, happy crafting. Mama Juju, go take care of your live. And maybe I'll pop in for a few minutes. We'll see. So you make Halloween cards for all 7 of your grandkids. Oh, you have a son that was born on Halloween. I have actually a nephew and his wife that were married on Halloween. They don't have any children. So I should probably send them a card even though they're adults, nearing 40, but they would probably like cards anyway. So 106 by you. So with our humidity, we were probably pretty close to that because it was super. I just went outside and I was dripping sweat. So anyway, thank you for popping in, Vicki. I'm usually on every night. Are you part of Mama Juju's group? I don't remember your name from the other night when you all popped in. And I have a little bit of delay, so if you've commented, I haven't seen it yet. Oh, you found me by accident. Well, I'm glad. I hope it was a happy accident. I did a couple of videos with this set last night and the night before. So I did this card 2 nights ago. I did this card last night with our little wobbles. So those videos are on. Yeah, you're welcome to join any of us. These 2 cards are on my... I had videos the last couple of nights on those, and they're on my Facebook page too. So if you're interested in how those turned out, feel free to pop by and check those out too. So, very good. I see, that's what I love about the crafting community. You know, we're all, oh, thanks for subscribing. We're all here just to share what we do and get ideas and share ideas and create stuff our own way. So I think it's great. Thank you for popping in, ladies. I am going to head out and I might check out another page. So until next time, happy crafting.